started off by getting the Tailored Tutors website up, as, like I said, this revision session was going to be based around how I use Tailored Tutors to revise for mock.
The biological molecules. So this is in the specification, Unit 3.1, the biological molecules.
So in this video, I am using the Tailored Tutors guided notes or study sheets or study notes or whatever you want to call them, which are basically an empty template of what the teacher is writing or the tutor is writing on the screen. As you can see, I'm watching what they're writing, and then I will start to fill in what they've been writing down into the empty template that I have. This is such a good way of making sure that you're not just passively watching the video, but actually taking in the information. So what I like to do is when the tutor writes the definition, I like to pause it straight after they've said what the definition means, and then write the definition down myself, which is a little bit of recall. Even though it's from the short-term memory, it's still helpful in making sure that that information sticks in my brain, which is a little. So what I like to do now, after you've finished the video and you've got your note sheet, is a bit of active recall. I love active recall. It's such a great way to find out what you know and what you've not retained. So I start off by turning over the note sheet and getting out a fresh piece of paper, and then I like to just write down everything that's in my brain from what was on that note sheet, and just try and get as much of it down in full as possible. And then the most important thing is that once you've done that, to go back over in a different colour and add in the things that you don't know. I like to do this multiple times until I get everything without any corrections, and that just gives you such a good feeling of satisfaction. It's also very, it's not passive, so if you're tired, it will help you to stay focused, and yeah, just love it, love it. So just like I said, here you can see that I'm going over my notes in a different colour pen, adding in the corrections and just making sure that I've criticized everything that I've just done. And then the best thing is to always just do it again until you can get it all without any corrections. So once I'm satisfied with the active recall, I like to hole punch the note sheet and put them in the folder that I very awkwardly try to open with one hand. Just because when they're all filed away chronologically, it makes my heart very happy, and I feel like keeping on top of that whilst you're doing the revision stops you from having to do it at the end of a long revision session, and you could just pack up and leave instead of having to then file everything. So I just like to keep on top of that in the same way that people like to clean the kitchen as they cook and not after. I just wanted to quickly draw attention to how many times I'm going to change colour in the next few seconds. I like to call it colour plugging or colour marking, and it's a really helpful way to associate words with colours and helps you to remember. So try it out. So once again, just using the exact same process, using those note sheets and making sure that I'm using plenty of colours, and I often replay the videos, which is a great thing about these videos, is that you can replay them as many times as you need to get the bits that maybe you missed whilst writing. It's very different to lessons in real life, because once you've missed it in real life. But with this, it's all at your own speed, which I love. So as you can see, I'm just filling in those note sheets and making sure that I've got comprehensive notes of what the teacher is saying. So here I am for the second time on the second video doing my active recall. I think you guys get the gist now. I don't like to change it up a lot within a revision session because I find that can be quite distracting. I find sticking with the same routine within a 1 hour or 45 minute slot can really help you with the flow of things and making sure that you're extremely productive. However, day-to-day I would advise doing different things, but today is mainly active recall, which I think is the best way to utilise videos. So another thing that I love to have next to me is the textbook for the subject that I'm studying, because if I feel like I've missed something out or didn't quite grasp something from the video, I've always got that second base where I can touch down and just make sure that I've understood it. In this case, I had forgotten the side group for my alpha glucose, the CH2OH, and just wanted to make sure that I knew where that was and just got the structure of the alpha glucose right before I started active recalling it wrongly, because that would have caused me to have a false memory of what it should be, and that would not be great. So I just made sure that I solidified that knowledge before moving on. False memory. So whilst this clip is going on, I'm just going to talk a little bit about Tailored Tutors. I absolutely love it. Oh, the video's gone a bit starting. And I know I'm a brand ambassador, but I wouldn't be plugging it if I didn't think it was absolutely great. So I love to use it because I'm definitely a visual learner. I love to use pictures and videos to understand concepts and processes. And I find that watching the Tailored Tutors videos just breaks things down in such an easier way. As you can see, maybe if you've got Hawkeye, when I click off the videos, I haven't done very much of the biology course here. I've been focusing mainly on the chemistry, but after a recent result in a test, I've realised that it's about time that I start to knuckle down with biology. So this is what I'm doing here, and there'll be plenty more of these biology sessions to come. So here I am doing the last active recall before I have a break. So I'm just making sure that I've understood the things on that last topic, making sure I don't drift off into not focusing, because it's so important that you focus right till the very end of your study, because otherwise the stuff that you learned last will just never go in. And if you add all of that stuff up over the course of a year, you know, that's a lot of things that didn't go into your brain. So it's important just to stay focused for the last few minutes and then make sure that you have a break. So I took a little break, had some crisps, and watched a YouTube video, 10 vegan recipes for under £1, I think it was. So that was great. I'll leave her YouTube in the description. Cue some very loud ASMR crunching.
Ideas. Now each of these recipes comes up to under £1, and to keep it nice and simple, I got all the ingredients from one supermarket. I'm going to link everything that I got and how much it costs in the description bar below, so you guys can check it out for yourselves. I'm not entirely sure, but I think Tesco's is on par with Target. Let me know in the comments if I'm slightly off, because I'm not entirely sure. I know a lot of you guys just mix this here. Super quick and simple recipe. So while I was cooking, I cooked some brown rice.
Right, let's go. Biodiversity, transport plants, seeds. I really don't think this is it.
So another cheeky plug for Tailored Tutors is that they have their own exam question banks that they've made that are topic specific. So if you have just revised ecosystem, there will be a bank of questions on ecosystems that you can access easily without having to traipse through all the papers. For some reason I couldn't find exam questions on what I had just done, so I went through the real exam papers that they also have on Tailored Tutors and found some questions that are specific to what I had just been doing. So when I found an exam question, I just wrote it out in full on some paper using what I had just learned. But the most important thing is that once you finish, to make sure you are marking your answers, because otherwise there's literally no point if you're not getting correction from this. But I do love exam questions. They're so helpful in applying the knowledge to the exam situation, which at the end of the day we're all going to be in. So we're now at the end of my study with me. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please do excuse the bad sound quality throughout. I've been testing out a new microphone. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!